Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to WrestleLine. I'm your host, John Scott, joined tonight, as always, by my co-host, Matt Essex, and we are reviewing SummerSlam, which took place less than 24 hours ago, in fact. So, Matt, I'm going to bring you in now, and how you doing for the podcast, as we are out live tonight?
Yeah, always ready for that, and what better time than after a huge pay-per-view like the one we just had. Definitely a lot to talk about, because there was definitely a lot to see that day as well. Especially when you take into account that pre-show. Wow.
Yeah, it was very long-winded, to say the least, and obviously before we are going to talk about NXT, but we're going to talk about that after SummerSlam. We're just going to give a little brief sum up of that, because we're mainly here for SummerSlam on this one. Otherwise, we could be here all night. So I think we best stick with just SummerSlam. But had a unique experience last night. Actually got invited to go and watch SummerSlam at a party gig up in London. It was kind of very last minute. One of my old wrestling buddies had a spare ticket going, and I wasn't really, at first I thought, no, I'm not going to go all that way up there just for a SummerSlam. And then he kept sending me loads of pictures through. He was proper manipulating the situation. You got to come, there's these cocktails and there's all the wrestling cocktails. And then he started showing me everyone's fancy dress stuff. So I ended up going, and yeah, it was a cool night, good experience. But I tell you one thing: in the UK, obviously, we are staying up through the early hours of the morning. It is like a marathon. Believe me, when you are, it's one thing to watch it at normal time, but during the whole night is something else, I tell you. So we'll certainly talk about my experiences and what people around me. It was quite interesting to see all these different fans around me and what their point of views were and what they liked and what they didn't like. So without further ado, Matt, I think we need to start this, and obviously no better place to start these days than the WWE kickoff show, shall we say. And this kickoff show, I mean, honestly, I was thinking back a little while ago, Matt, and I was thinking that it was only a while ago that we only used to have kickoff shows on things like WrestleMania. Now it's every single pay-per-view that comes along, you've got a kickoff. And not only is it just 1 hour now, no, it's 2 hours. And to put that in perspective, that is literally... other than an extra half hour on NXT TakeOver, that is the bulk of a TakeOver show, and that's just the kickoff. It's incredible. But honestly, I watched the whole thing through, start to finish, of this kickoff show. I'm going to sum it up real nice and easy here. What a waste of time. Really, I did not enjoy one single bit of it, much less that panel stuff. Those guys, I'm sorry, Renee and all the rest of it, but honestly, Booker T just comes out with so much nonsense, pointless views. Nobody really gives an honest prediction because it's so scripted. And what they do is they play all the promo videos that are then going to be played during the show anyway. So it's I don't really want to watch this now. I only want to watch it once, and I'll watch that just before the match. So that kind of does your head in as well, because you want to save those parts, and then they filter backwards and forwards from all these little mini interviews. What I would prefer to see is I think an hour is more than enough, and secondly is if you're gonna talk about the matches and build them up, then you've got to do it in a different way. Use different footage, use different things that maybe is not going to get spoken about on the pay-per-view. But honestly, it's just recycling the same stuff over and over again. And in less than 2 hours from that kickoff show, they're going to go through the whole thing again. So to me, it's just it gives you more of a marathon viewpoint than even needs to be, let alone the whole pay-per-view. So there's my moan out the way with there, really, on that one. I've got to say the actual point of the panel and all the rest of it is shambolic, really. I do not enjoy that one single bit. And the matches, Matt, weren't exactly breathtaking either. To be honest, we had 3 matches going on this kickoff show, by the way, which seems a little bit much as well. But Matt, obviously we had the mixed tag team match that got bumped on there. No surprises from you, Matt? Was you surprised that got bumped on that one, on the kickoff?
No, not really. It was one that came in there with a lot of momentum, was it? And I think, it was the prime choice to go on first.
Yeah. The match itself, Matt, I mean, not a lot to talk about really on the whole thing. They had again, when you have this, this kickoff, they have commercials running through it. It's just a nightmare. The match went for just 7 minutes. Not really an awful lot, and I don't really know what there is to take out of it. But Matt, what did you think? Did you see? I mean, it's funny to think, isn't it? Someone emailed me, and Rusev was in the main event last month. Now he's in the first match on the kickoff show. That's an incredible turnaround, isn't it?
Yeah, it just shows you how quickly your stock can rise and fall. But on the other side of that, I'm glad that Almas is still on the rise, and he got another win there. So I'm pleased with that, because I feel like he's got so much talent. It would be a shame if he didn't get a fair shot, and much like we've seen with Rusev, I wouldn't like him to be on the rise and then just had it cut short. I mean, I'm hoping this is something that can continue, and he won't get stuck in that rut where he starts to be misused.
Yeah, well, we definitely don't want that, do we? So, yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, again, Rusev, could go on and on about the way they've booked him, but it is so up and down. As you can see just from that. I mean, it's just crazy. Then we've got the Matt's favourite title, I'm sure, the Cruiserweight title. We spoke about this in the preview. Not a lot to go on here, but I had seen some 205 shows leading up to it. But, putting this on a kickoff show, Matt, I mean, it doesn't show it in a good light, the fact that where the WWE are positioning this. And so if there's no... It's almost like there's a lack of importance to it, and the fact that then you're putting it on the kickoff. How can you expect people to really get into this stuff? But it was what it was. I mean, it went just over 10 minutes. There were some good spots in it. I thought they'd done a good enough job for what it was. But again, it's very difficult to really see any progress with this title in general and the division that they're trying to get across. I wonder really how long this is going to keep up for, to be quite honest with you. But it's another one, and it's another one bumped on a pre-show. Matt, what about you? What did you think of this for both guys, Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak?
Yeah, it's a bit confusing about why it would be on the pre-show, because it's the most unique title. It's the only one of its kind. I mean, a lot of stuff on Raw and SmackDown is a bit tit for tat, isn't it? They got the 2 tag team belts, 2 sort of US and Intercontinental, and then 2 heavyweight titles. It's the only one that really stands out as an individual title. It's its own creation. So, they should at least make it the first match of the actual SummerSlam event itself. I mean, at least then it would actually get a bit more publicity. If they want people to tune in and watch 205 Live, then put it on a bigger sort of stage. Don't just make it look like it doesn't really mean that much. It does feel like they've kind of given up a little bit, and that is a bit of a shame, because they do have a lot of good ideas down there and a lot of good workers on 205 Live. So I would like it to see do better than it does. But, we said many times, it always ends up on the pre-show, and it's not really fair to sort of judge the match too much, because you don't really get enough time to showcase anything on the pre-show.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. Backing that one up, I think you're absolutely spot on. Like you say, it doesn't say a lot when you're bumping this thing off the pre-show, quite frankly. And it's nothing against all the guys that are in there, because they're doing their best. They can only they can only do as good as they get given here, and the exposure that these guys are getting is getting less and less every time now. And like I say, when this title first come back after this tournament thing, you thought this could be really promising. Unfortunately, definitely not going that way for me. Okay, up next, the third pre-show match, because this just goes on and on, is the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship, which was the B team, Curtis Axel and in there with Dallas against, of course, one of my favourite tag teams from NXT, the Revival. And I mean, what a path they're having at the moment, Matt. I mean, would you ever imagine a year ago that the B team would be more over than the Revival? Quite frankly, the Miz's entourage. It's incredible, isn't it? But this is where we are, and this is the day and age. Obviously, I know there's not a lot going for Revival, and there is a little bit more buzz in the air with the B team. But this was, again, another one of those times you say to yourself, Matt, what are they doing with the Revival? What have they got planned for these guys? Did they ever have anything in mind for these guys? Or is this just, again, they're becoming sort of like the jobbers easily here for a lot of teams here, Matt. But the match itself, not exactly incredible either. I thought, again, just over 6 minutes, not a hell of a lot of time at all. And for guys like the Revival, their best work comes with old school tag team method, sort of chemistry wrestling. How on earth they could do that in this time, I have no idea. But not a great outing for me, and I've got to say, unless the Revival picked up the win here, I was never really going to be a fan of this one way or the other. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit criminal the way they treat these two guys. They've got so much talent, and they just really have never been given the green light. And like you said, it doesn't really seem like they're going to anytime soon. These are two guys that could kind of dominate any scene outside of WWE in the tag team division, so it is a real shame. And when you look at the finish to the match as well, that's a bit of a shame, because it was a kind of a comedy, but we got to this point, and this was about granted on the pre-show, but this was the third sort of roll-up package kind of win that we had. We had 3 of them straight in a row.
Yeah, you're right.
That doesn't really say much about the thought they put into these matches.
No, you're spot on there. I'm glad you picked that up, actually. I've missed that, but you're spot on each of those matches. And yeah, I think it summed up for me quite a, again, what the point is of these. I mean, back in the day, and I always say this, is that when you had your likes of Sunday Night Heat and all that sort of stuff, or you had the pay-per-views going on, and it meant you could get those last few people in, because you want them to, buy the pay-per-view, you would put something. You'd be surprised what you used to get on Sunday Night Heat or an old pre-show match, because you would want to sell people on that match to then get them to go and pay for it. Now, I'll tell you what, Matt, if you were sitting there before you'd even put your money down for a subscribe, I mean, I don't think I would have paid even 10 quid, let alone the pay-per-view fee on that basis. I mean, it was dreadful. And I think that even the panel was really selling that this is going to change. I kind of thought to myself, after I saw this pre-show, Matt, I was like, wow, this is going to be another one of those long nights of WWE wrestling, and it's, going on what I'd just seen. This was not setting me up in a good mood for the rest of the show. So if anything, this pre-show, this kickoff, I felt took it down a notch, to be honest with you. So my expectations by this point were extremely low, let's say, at this point, Matt. Well, just to sum up on the pre-show thing, Matt, because we do get loads of questions about it. Is there any way you can get round this, Matt, or do you think WWE, next thing we know, it's 3 hours pre-show?
I really kind of think less is more. Like 2 hours is way too long. I mean, all of this stuff that we had in this could have easily been condensed into an hour. And if that was the case, people would probably feel less bored watching it. I can imagine if someone was trying to decide whether they were going to buy a SummerSlam and they put that on. Who's got 2 hours to decide? People are just going to turn on like a little bit before the program, not just go, I need 2 hours to decide whether I'm going to get this. It's just too much. I mean, and even if they added an extra hour onto the SummerSlam event itself, at least those people people would be considered actually on the main card rather than just like on the pre-show and trying to like draw in that little bit of extra audience, but not given enough time to do so.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I don't know why they don't stick on